Hello everyone and welcome to my Thursday forecast. So let's take a look at the euro and the US dollar. On the last video I forgot to mention there was a trade right here, but I didn't take it. So let me go through it. At this point what I was seeing the price forming an ascending structure. So we were just breaking the lows, retracing, and again breaking the lows, retracing. So forming this ascending channel, and I was looking for momentum to a downside to get in on a reversal trade, either a flag or a break and retest. So what we then got, we got one impulse, this wasn't enough, and then we got this impulse signaling to me that the strength is willing to continue and that we do have momentum to a downside. But I also saw this wick, and at this point I didn't want to see just a retrace to the break and retest area or the most recent low. I wanted to see more of a range or a combo, which is a flag and a break and retest in one. So something like this, but we actually got a V reversal. So to me this entry didn't fit my plan and I wasn't willing to get in on this trade. So yeah, I stayed out of that reversal trade. And then what happened next? So we got a V reversal, we got a small range, and we got the continuation of the second leg, which is a common pattern. So we got a V, a small range, then an impulse, and then look for a long trade. So currently I'm seeing this pattern and I'm seeing this nice impulse. So I want to get in on a long trade. And there was an opportunity to get in on a flag at this point. So what I then saw, so we got this nice impulse, we got double wicks at the top, so not huge double wicks, but double wicks signaling to us a range, and we saw an aggressive retrace. I saw a large momentum shift right here. I saw a V actually reversal, so I wasn't willing to look for a flag because I know that to me when we get the large impulse, double wicks, momentum shift and this V reversal, it is usually signaling to me a larger range, so something like this. And this would be the entry candle for the flag. So this is the first low, first high, second low entry candle. So this is the first bullish candle after we broke the most recent or the first flag low. But as I said, this didn't fit my plan because I'm just waiting for a larger range. So then what happened actually, if anyone was in this, they would now get stopped out. But there is also a level here. I won't put it down because then it would be taken as a signal. But there is a level, the most recent high, and I would look how the price reaches that level. If it reaches in a descending fashion, then I would look to enter on a long trade, because I know that this entry, so this inside bar is actually the bottom of this range, or usually is the bottom of a range. We also call it the bullet level. So the bullet level is usually the bottom of a range, and I'm very happy to enter on a long, but I don't want to see just a straight push to a downside like this, because this is signaling to me just momentum. So I want to see more of a descending to entry, because if I just get momentum like this to that inside bar, it can just push through and we can continue down. So I want to see the price getting exhausted. This currently doesn't fit my plan to go long. But this was a nice ascending and then an impulse to the upside. So I was very happy to look for a long trade. Now we will see if I get a descending to entry or we just push through the downside. And if we do push through the downside, I would look for a flag trade. Or I would look for a push, pull back another push, break and retest trade. We can get just descending structure. I would look for an impulse to the upside and then a trade. Or we can get push to the upside. I would look for a flag, push to the upside, pull back another impulse, look for this sort of trade, break and retest. And then this would signal a trend because we have this impulse, pull back another impulse, pull back another impulse. So yeah, once we get two impulses, once you get an impulse, pull back and another impulse, then I classify that as a trending market. Also, what can happen, we can get an ascending from here, so something like this. And then we get a push to the downside, and I would look for a flag, a short flag trade. So definitely would like to see that. But yeah, currently what I'm expecting a larger range because I'm seeing the price action. So that is definitely something that I can expect. Let's now move on to the euro and the Japanese yen. So right here, this one is very range bound still. So we have been in this range for a couple of weeks now. Huge range, huge wicks, up and down, not showing me any momentum or any direction. Currently we broke the high, got double wicks, retraced. So I really need to see a large impulse that would signal a trend, that would signal momentum and then a flag. Or maybe to the downside, the large impulse, then a flag. Or if we get a nice clean descending, I would look for an impulse to the upside and a long flag. So a long trade or a buy. Or I would look for an ascending structure, and it would be a really clean ascending structure, look for an impulse to the downside and a short flag trade. But it needs to be clean price action because this is just very messy and it looks like crap, so not showing me any momentum. Now let's move on to the Aussie pairs. So for the Aussie and the US dollar, I am in a trade. So let me take it back, let me go over that one. So at this point, there was another long trade right here, opportunity. So at this point, what I was seeing an impulse to the upside, I was seeing a pullback, I was seeing a push, retrace, another push. And there were some people that entered on a long trade right here, but to me this push just wasn't enough. It was a clean close, but the candle was just too small. It didn't break by much, so I wasn't willing to enter because I was starting to see some weakness. We broke the high, got large wicks, retraced, got some bearish candles, broke the high again with just one candle, retraced straight away, and then broke the high again with just a really small amount. So definitely not showing me momentum to the upside, but showing me more of an ascending structure. And actually, after we got this candle, I then saw a common pattern, which I'm always talking about. So I saw an ascending and I saw push to downside. This would be that push to downside. This would be a momentum shift out of an ascending structure. And after this candle, I was very willing to place a pending short order at the most recent low, or at the bullet level as we call it. So very willing to place that because look at this candle, it really shows momentum. It's a clean close, there was no wick, and it's really large. And I'm seeing this smaller ascending right here inside this, I would say, larger ascending. So this is even higher probability than just a regular ascending structure. So this was a no-brainer trade and it fit my plan 100%. This is very textbook. What we then got, so we got tagged in, got some continuation, then we broke the low, got a pullback, and now we broke the low again. So I managed to reduce my risk at this point. So now my stop loss is at the most recent high, which is right here. So 2 pips above, because I just do it 2 pips above or 2 pips below. So at this point I do have my stops, since we broke the low again and broke the low right here. This would be the most recent high. And I didn't scale into the position because we are starting to form a descending structure, because we are just breaking the lows, retracing, breaking the lows, retracing, breaking the lows, retracing. So forming a very clear descending structure and not showing momentum to the downside. So currently I'm just sitting on my hands. What I would really like to see, a nice continuation, of course, because I'm in a short trade. Then I would look for a flag, or maybe we get a large push, then look for a break and retest. Also, I would like to see a nice large push, pull back another push, look for a break and retest. We can get more of a descending. I would look for an impulse to the upside and a long trade. Or we can push to the upside straight from here. I would look for a long trade flag. We can get a push, pull back another push, break and retest, signaling a trend to the upside. Or we can get an ascending, push to the downside, look for a flag. But I need to be really careful, because if we get this descending into an ascending structure, it can signal more of ranging price action. So I would need to see a large impulse and some large momentum to be looking for any trades if we are ranging. So that's it for the Aussie and the US dollar. Let's see what happens. And now let's move on to the last pair, the Aussie and the Japanese yen. So this one, there was an opportunity to enter right here, which I talked about yesterday. I stayed out of this trade because I didn't like the pullback. Then we broke the low again, and I know that some people entered right here on a short trade, but to me this would be my entry point because this is an inside bar, so it didn't break the prior candle high or the low, it was inside the prior candle, so this would be my entry level. And for the price to retrace all the way back, it would show a V reversal, and I know when we get a V, we just get a range and then we continue in the direction of the second V leg, so no trade for me. And actually what we did then got is we got this V reversal, so to me it was just not a good trade. Either this one didn't fit my plan, this one also didn't fit my plan to go short, so currently we are stuck in this range, and after we get the V reversal it is off and we can just range around. So I would expect to see something like this, more of a ranging price action. And what I would like to see, some nice conviction because this is currently ranging. I would like to see a nice descending, then we get an impulse to the upside, then a flag. Or if we get a push, pull back another push, look for a short trade. A nice impulse, then a flag to the downside. Same thing to the upside, I would like to see a nice ascending structure, look for an impulse down and a short trade. Or I would like to see a nice push, pull back, get a flag maybe. Or we get a push, pull back another push, break and retest, or a bullet trade, same thing, different name. But something to look out for. Currently this one is ranging, so I want to see some large momentum to the upside or to the downside, because this is just showing me no conviction and I am a trend trader. I want to see a trend, I want to see for the pair to choose if it wants to go up or it wants to go down, and this one is just signaling sideways price action. So that's it for the forecast. I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully we get more of Aussie and US dollar going to a downside, but we will see. So yeah, bye.